Hey, what it do, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Just having a great day. Now I know it's been about, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks since I posted anything. It's because my life's been pretty boring. Been working on the same project day in, day out. And basically what I've been working on is converting all of these trees. It goes all the way around. I think it ended up being close to 80 trees. Every single one had a drip system. I converted them all to hard pipe. So it's been a lot of digging, a little bit of backhoe work. 299's been putting in some work, but none of that's very interesting stuff. But that's all about to change today. We are going to start to get into the intricate part of this build. So a couple years back, Johnny and I, we pretty much tore everything down that used to be up here. This used to be like a horse arena. We had a big round pen over here. There were some corrals right here, some cattle sorting equipment that was over that way. It was all super run down. That's where our squeeze came from. And we've got bigger, better plans for this, but a lot of that involved trees actually growing. And now that some of them have actually turned into trees, some more than others, that one's not doing too good. So to be honest, it's kind of a miracle that most of these trees are still alive because the watering has been few and far between. So for the past couple weeks, I have been converting every single one to hard pipe. Every single one has a bubbler. And as much as I wanted to show you guys what we had going on, it's just really, really boring, but extremely time consuming. So I have up until about right here, all the way done. I've been building wells with mulch and fertilizer on every single tree that you guys can see. Up until this point, I still have that way to go. So long story short, we are going to be placing these poles. They're going to be a bunch of cables that run from the top down to some other posts that are going to have market lights, and we're going to be building these really big, cool structures to make like a little pavilion area over here. We might be doing another one over there. So the reason behind all of this work up here and tearing everything down, because realistically, all of the stuff that was here was functioning. It was usable, but we have these big plans, these big endeavors to actually turn this whole area up here into a wedding venue. That's our long-term goal, and so I think we're gonna start pushing forward with that again, and that's gonna start with these big light structures. I just love the view back here. It's so beautiful. It's peaceful. You got these mountainsides that surround you. I would talk about how bad trucking is in this video, but we're gonna go ahead and focus on the good, and maybe in the next couple videos or so, I'll go ahead and talk about what's going on with trucking and construction, because right now in San Diego, so bad. But anyways, before I start rambling on too much, I hope you guys enjoy this video. There's gonna be a lot of machinery in it. I even rented a little walk behind trencher that we'll be showing you guys in this video. So anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and get to work. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go and jump on into it and let's roll. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Basically have your left and right control. Nice, beautiful popcorn wells right there. All right, so it's a pretty big accomplishment to get all these trees and have all the watering converted to an actual hard pipe system instead of the bubbler. So these two poles that you guys see right here are actually the top segment. They have a bottom segment which actually goes into the ground, and then they actually bolt to it.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
So we're basically going to be tearing apart the Cub Cadet today. This thing gets used all the time out here. Such a good little mower, but we suffered a little bit of an incident the other day. One of the blades came off. That's largely in fault to myself. I forgot to tighten one of the nuts up all the way. Destroyed the threads on the shaft that comes down that actually hooks up to the mower blade, which is a total bummer because I just put brand new blades on it. And I got the nice ones. I got the mulching ones. Kind of an expensive little kit, but the new part from Cub Cadet that goes onto the blade is like $140. And I did find on Amazon a 3-pack of off-brand ones. I'll put a link down in the description below if you guys have the same Cub Cadet as I do. You can check them out. The 3-pack I think was $80, and we got new blades, and so we're gonna be swapping them out. So I'm not 100% if we're gonna be swapping out all 3. So I think there is like a kit that comes with everything because of kind of the unique situation that this is. I think I may have ordered them incorrectly. I did order the blades separately from the actual little rotating assemblies. And then I didn't know if the rotating assembly came with nuts. So I went ahead and bought a 3-pack of the spindle nuts. Wasn't a whole lot of money. I'm kind of hoping that there is some in there so we can have some extras. Let's go ahead and find out. Yee, who's driving over here? Yeah, good enough. Maybe. I keep saying to myself, I need to pull the Camaro down off the lift to work on the lawnmower. It would make it so much easier to get work done on this thing if we had the car lift. Because as of right now, all I ever do is just stick a jack stand up in the front and crawl underneath the bottom of it. All right, let's see what we got. Well, there's the bolts that mount it to the deck. No nut. I guess it's a good thing I bought that 3-pack. So if you guys buy the same 3-pack that I did, be sure you order the spindle nuts because they do not come with them. But I guess we can go ahead and crawl underneath here and start to figure stuff out. I guess actually, maybe I should just take down the whole mower deck. That might be my easiest bet. So these belts are actually extremely easy to remove. Watch this. Not that difficult. So I'm trying to figure out if I should just throw this thing away or, I don't know, maybe save the pulley. I don't know yet. But we're gonna go ahead and get this cleaned off. Okay. This goes in there like that. Hopefully it lines up. Come on. And this thing just drops down in there like so. They did send new bolts, which I think they're probably gonna be a different thread than the ones that came from Cub Cadet because those were standard. I know these Cub Cadets are assembled in the USA. I don't know where they get all their parts from, but I'm pretty sure these are metric. Kind of looks like a 12. Ooh, 13 maybe? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they are standard. Well, I'll be standard bolts from China. Not every day you come across that. Yeah, that's wild. Ooh. And then putting the belt back on is super easy. Actually, I might need 2 hands for it, but still not hard. There you go. Last thing we have to do is put the blade on there. So one thing I do like about Cub Cadet is on their blades, they do say grass side and USA. Had we not have broken that output shaft, I would have continued to buy these. And I think you can still buy Cub Cadet blades with this pattern. A lot easier at Tractor Supply. The problem with these, Tractor Supply doesn't really carry them unless you buy the entire kit with the cover for the deck and all this other stuff. So I do think that Cub Cadet carries these at Tractor Supply, which once these ones wear out, we'll continue to buy USA made stuff. But for today's video and all other intents and purposes, we're gonna be using these bad dogs. But this one does not say which side goes towards the grass. So you basically just have to follow the one that you take off. You guys see how it has this reverse curvature right here? Same deal. Just gonna stick that on like that. Bolt her down, put the cover back on, and we should be good to go. So probably the most important thing to double check right now is that these 2 blades don't hit each other. If those were to hit each other, that would cause serious problems. So you guys can see they get real close, which is okay. Realistically, we should probably change out both of those blades to the same style because they are a different style of blade. Like those are mulchers, these are not. Is it the end of the world? No, we're just cutting weeds. So we're gonna get as much life out of those as we can because they're pretty much brand new. And we're gonna be hitting rocks and doing all sorts of stuff. So, but we're pretty much done. Super quick and easy repair. We got that nut cranked down, got that cranked down. I do need to grease that. And now that I'm looking at this, I kind of wish I had rotated it this way so the Zerk fitting was right there, but don't really care too much. I'm just gonna put some grease in there real quick. And to do that, we're gonna be using hands down my favorite Milwaukee tool, the cordless grease gun. Absolutely love this. Makes life so much easier. Did forget one last thing. We gotta put this cover back on. Which realistically, I need to find another one of those too. But for today, we're good. All right, well, we are done. Let's go ahead and get it back on the ground. Definitely not how you're supposed to do that. Probably not supposed to go around with a bunch of branches on there either, but it's just how we live out here. Go ahead and back it on up just a little bit. And did a couple circles around this little area right here. Everything seems to be working pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and check this one off the list. As far as lawnmower goes, and my current state of mind, I would recommend the off-brand stuff. Seems to work pretty good. So if you're not trying to spend 130 bucks on a replacement part for this thing, the 3-pack for $66, pretty good deal. It has been a very long time since I have run one of these things. Okay, here we go. Here's the key. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. You basically have your left and right controls. You got your throttle. There's your choke. This is basically whatever direction you want to dig. You got forward, reverse if you need it. Pretty sweet little unit. I'm excited to use it tomorrow. But we're gonna go ahead and just stick it over there out of the way for now, so nobody has any wandering eyes and tries to come steal it tonight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and head down to the shop. I think that's a good enough spot for this thing. What do you think about it, bud? Do you approve? You approve of this little thing? How you doing? Hey. Oh, don't be a turd. Oh. That's my good boy. All right, got all the sticks cleared off from yesterday. A little bit more comfortable to sit on this thing. Let's go ahead and get it warming up. So I was just gonna start mowing, but I did move my truck out of the way to get the bull in there. And this looks like a prime target for some nice, beautiful little rocks to come do what rocks do. So we're gonna get this thing moved real quick. So the Cub Cadet, she put in some serious work right now. I'll show everything that we got cut in just a second. I was gonna keep going, but we got another issue, and that's that we have a flat tire. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move over to the trencher. Now, I've been trying to figure out like the best way to do this, because I don't exactly remember where all the risers are. I don't know. It's gonna be kind of tricky. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the water off and on a bunch. We're gonna find out where it's leaking. But basically I'm just gonna trench through, break the pipe, and we're gonna splice in. We're not gonna put any of the fittings on the very end. We'll have to flush the lines super good. They're gonna be super contaminated. But basically we're just gonna start trenching. We're gonna try and start finding stuff. And then when we're all done with this, each tree is gonna have its own little riser instead of having that drip line that spreads everywhere that the rabbits just can't get enough of. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Turn that choke on. Maybe a little bit more throttle. Full throttle. And then where all the old risers are, we'll just figure out where they're at. We'll go down, we'll cap them off, and that'll be the end of those. Then everything will be underground except for the last little bit where each one's gonna get its own little drip or bubbler or whatever we end up using. But I'm gonna go ahead and start trenching. All right, so this trencher's working pretty good. You guys can see we found the water pipe right there. I went a little bit past it. I'm gonna go ahead and go just a little bit lower. Actually, you know what? No, I think that's probably a good depth right there. I'm just gonna have to do a little bit of digging on the sides to actually get some access to it, because we're gonna have to put a T in there. And, but yeah, this is pretty much what we're gonna be doing. We're just gonna trench over to each tree. We'll come up with a little riser right there. Then I'm gonna have to build like a berm around each of them. This is realistically something we should have done 4 years ago when we put this all together. I should have just rented one of these instead of trying to just do the drip system on a quick and easy type deal, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I have a ton of trees that I need to do this to, so this thing's working great. Kicks all the dirt off to the side. I really like this unit. All right, so yesterday I ended up making pretty good progress. We made our complete circle around, and I was starting right here. And as much as I like working in the rain, it just got to a point where I was just getting too wet yesterday, and plus the sun was about to go down. So basically, you guys can see what we got going on right here. We have, this is where our riser was roughly. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water back on so we can see where it is. But this is pretty much what we're gonna be doing. I have all the way done till, I don't know, you can see the machine over there. So we're probably about halfway done with all the trenching, but the problem is over there, there's a couple spots where the risers are, where I have absolutely no idea where they're at. But in order to find it, I'm gonna have to turn the water back on to see where it's leaking, but there's no way that the water's gonna pressurize enough to pop up over there. So I basically have to repair as I go now. And then when I can't find it, I'll have to turn the water on and see where it starts bubbling. So we're basically gonna fix all of these, and then we'll go ahead and turn the water back on. But I do need to find this one first, and I don't remember where that's even at. So let's go ahead and turn some water on. There we go. Go ahead and turn the water back off. Oh look, there's riser number 2. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and give this thing a quick bath. Gonna get the old pressure washer fired up. This thing is still going full beast mode. Just because we feel like being nice, we're gonna go ahead and make one repair on this thing before we send it back. The shroud on the muffler. You guys can see we got this nice, beautiful popcorn weld right there that grabbed really hard onto this other side. Not. You guys, I have not seen a weld this bad in quite some time. And I've seen some pretty bad welds. I mean, this did not grab in any way, shape, or form. That is just awful. That's so bad. Whew. Get that cleaned up. Now, I'm trying to remember which way it went. Probably should have taken a picture. Okay, so this went like that. I need to go back over to the machine. All right, so got it all put back together. Definitely feeling way, way better than it was. I think it's gonna be all right. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing loaded up on the trailer. She's going out to the job site. Is that good? All right, well, huge thanks to Steve and Equipment Share for hooking up this nice piece of equipment that made my life way easier. As always, super appreciate it.
Anytime.
See you next time, man.
Have a good one.
All right, I just pulled back up to the ranch, made a quick run to Home Depot this morning, grab all the supplies that we're gonna need to finish everything up there. Ended up spending just a little bit more than I wanted to, but we're gonna go ahead and warm up the 299. We gotta swap it out with the auger attachment. We got 3 holes that we're gonna be drilling, and then once we're done with that, I actually have to load it up, run it over to my buddy Keith's house real quick. He's gonna be using it for a couple days, and I'm not gonna need it after we drill those holes. So I went ahead and thumbed through some of the poles that we have. This one right here was like our first best option, so we're gonna go ahead and drop it off right there. It does have a little bit of an issue on that end of the pole. Not quite sure if I want to remedy it yet. It just got smashed a little bit. It's not the end of the world. That's the part that's going into the ground, but we're gonna go ahead and run back and grab our second post, which is going to be going over on that end. All right, we'll just drop it off the second pole over there. We're gonna go ahead and run down and grab the third one real quick. And here's pole number 3. Now I don't know exactly where we're gonna be putting these things yet. I just need to get them up here while I have the 299 because it's definitely the easiest thing to grab these poles with. We are gonna have to track the excavator up here, and we'll be able to move it with that. It's just like a slow process, but I need to go ahead and run and swap out the forks for the auger attachment, and I think I need to put a larger auger on it. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna have to put the big kahuna on there. All right, so keep going back and forth on exactly what we want to do, and even now I'm still not 100% sure. Initially, we're going to be taking out that post. That one's coming out regardless. I don't think anything's going to be going back right there. I just keep like having a hard time deciding how exactly we want to do this. So if you guys are wondering, James, what's the big deal with the poles? Basically what we're going to be doing with these things is there are going to be a ton of market lights coming off of them. And the wine barrels are basically going to be spread out in a radius right here. And we're going to try and cover this entire area with market lights. I was gonna be drilling the holes, but we just had the famous tractor boy come up here. So he's gonna drill them for me. All right, so the first hole is gonna be over that way. Okay, don't hit my truck. So I found this chain on the side of the freeway one day. It's just a beautiful chain. Super heavy duty. And we used it to yank some of the posts out up here. And I keep telling myself I'm gonna take it down to the shop, and I keep forgetting. Maybe I'll remember this time. All right, so for the depth on these poles, you really gotta go down. You guys can see we got the extension on there. We got the big, I think that's an 18-inch auger bit. We're just gonna bury that thing. It's going all the way down. Oh, no, first one, bud. We're going for that one. Let's pray that we don't hit any rocks on our way down. You're doing good. Okay, back up a tiny bit. Okay, keep going. Back up. Okay, keep going. No, just dig down. You're going all the way down, buddy. Okay, stop. Lift up. Okay, go ahead and back up a little bit. Okay, stop. Come back up. Auger attachments are like the coolest thing in the world. We got like a super deep hole right there. You know how long that would have taken to do by hand? Absolutely forever. I did make a little bit of a mess. My son's a better operator than I am. Anyways, I think we are done as far as drilling the holes go. I gotta go take the auger attachment off and run it over to Keith's house real quick. All right, so it's not very often that I stop to pay attention to stuff like this. We were working on these ones right here. Now, I know this isn't great. There's a ton of different joints. It's really not ideal. Originally had one riser right here, and then from there it went to drip line and went to each of the trees. Actually, we had another riser up there that I didn't know about until after the fact. Kind of forgot about it. But as we're working on all of this, my boy over there, he's much more observant than I am. He saw there's a little baby bird's nest in that tree. The parents to the little chicks that are hanging out in that tree are up in this right now, and they keep flying back and forth. So we're gonna try and leave them be. We're gonna try and let them do what they do, even though under normal circumstances, I'm not a big fan of this, because in 3-4 months from now, they're probably gonna be eating on my pomegranates. But for today, we're gonna let it slide. But the next repair, super easy to get to. It's on the other side of this oak tree. The line, when we originally trenched it, comes up this way. You guys can see it's broken right here. and there's nothing else that goes to this one. So that's gonna be the only one on that. And then we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more lines to run. So I don't think we're finishing today, but we're making good progress. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. The sun's just about to go down. We made it pretty far. We're getting close to the tail end of this one circuit. The backhoe's coming in clutch over here. But all we have left to do, there's actually one little straggler right there. And then we have just this little area left on this circuit. And then we have the second circuit. And then we have the third circuit, which I think only has like 10 trees on it. So it really shouldn't take too long. And I don't have to do any running around tomorrow. I'm gonna just wake up, get to work. Neighbors are probably gonna get upset at me because I'll be out here at like 5:30 making noise, but we gotta get this done. So anyways, I will see you guys first thing in the morning. All right, so it's a pretty big accomplishment to get all these trees and have all the watering converted to an actual hard piped system instead of the bubblers. But now, because we don't have bubblers, I have to build wells around every single one of these things. We got my wife in the 299. She's gonna start bringing dirt over to me. She's got a nice bucket of cow poop right now that we're gonna start to mix in with them a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and probably, just dump that over here. And then she's gonna start backfilling and bringing up more and more of it. And then we're gonna be spreading mulch around. I'm just gonna be doing a bunch of shoveling. And basically that's what we got going on. I don't think we'll get very far today. It's kind of later on in the afternoon already. I'm hoping to get this side of the driveway done. Nice. So after we'd finished a couple trees, she looked at me and she goes, I think you're a little faster on the tractor. So we did switch places and she did all the way up to that tree. And then she took a break on these 3 and finished with those 2. So anyhow, what we're gonna be doing now, I got some mulch and some fertilizer that we're gonna be putting in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water on and make sure that all these things still work, because it has been a minute since they got some water. It hasn't rained in a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and give them a nice little drink while we're doing everything. So far, everything seems to be looking like it's working pretty good. We got water spraying right where we want it. Beautiful. So some of them could definitely use some adjustment. That one's a little weak. Those ones sound like they're high pressure water cannons over there. So definitely need to turn those down a smidge. So fun fact, if you do not have a screwdriver, you can use the tip of your shovel. Maybe, come on. It's a little bit easier with 2 hands, but I did successfully adjust that one right there. We'll give it another go. There we go. That's looking a little better. Now, I am no landscaper, but I think that the big thing that you need to focus on is that they're all uniform and that they're spraying the same amount of water, whether it's a lot or a little. That way each tree gets the same amount. Like this one, way too much. But the other circuit where it has like 40 of these things on it, they don't have a whole lot of pressure behind them. So they all spray less, but they all spray equal. So in my mind, that makes sense. And we're just gonna pretend that that's the way it's supposed to be. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these adjusted down, and then we're gonna start spreading that mulch everywhere and hopefully get some of these things coming back to life a little bit. This one's obviously super dead. That one's mega dead. We're gonna have to replace those. But we went ahead and put the water in there anyways, so we can start to soften up the ground, dig them up and put new trees in. We're gonna mix up some more dirt for the rings around the trees, but today's the day I finally finish that stinking project with those trees. I'm so over just like the mindless shoveling, the mixing, all that good stuff. And then after we're done with that, it's time to fire up the old excavator, track that thing up towards the top. All right, we're back at it again today. The backhoe was just a little bit low in air in that back tire. We had to put about 10 pounds in it, but now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and top it off with fuel. All right, we got a nice full tank. Let's go ahead and get to work. I'm so ready for this project to be over. I just got done spreading out all the dirt for the rest of the wells around all of the trees. Now it's time for the tedious hand raking and shoveling and just cleaning everything up, but getting so close to being done, guys. This is one of those projects that just really sucks, but at the end it's gonna super be worth it. But anyhow, yeah, I'm just gonna put the camera down and get back to work. All right, well, summer got here real quick. It was like super cool last week, and now it's definitely toasty up here. But we just have 2 things to knock out before the exciting stuff happens. I have one pipe that needs repaired. I went ahead and picked up the easy repairs. Instead of digging back like 10 feet that way and 10 feet that way, we have these little nifty guys that slide out into place, and they work pretty good. They're just pricey, so if you just have a couple to do, these are good to have. But if you're like repairing 40 different sections of pipe, then these get expensive real quick. But since we just have 2 leaks that I know of, I went ahead and picked these things up. So I'm gonna get these knocked out real quick. Then we're gonna track the big excavator up here. And I just realized that I need to bring the welder up here too to make a couple modifications to those poles before we upright them. But I'm gonna go ahead and repair these real quick because like I said, it's getting hot and these trees are in desperate need of water. So as soon as we get this fixed, we can go ahead and turn the valve on and give them something to drink. They're looking a little bit wilty. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how easy it is for these things to actually work. We only got one shot to do it. No retakes on this one. So we're gonna go ahead and put glue on the piece of pipe. Put some glue on the repair coupler. Then I'll go ahead and show you guys what makes these super, super awesome. So basically you just slide this out, hold it in place, let it sit for a little bit, make sure it doesn't move. Sometimes these will kick back a little bit. Happens more with the red hot glue. Sometimes with PVC glue, as you put the coupling on there, it'll like actually expand and push the coupling back. So you always got to hold it for just a little bit, but that's it. It's repaired. We're gonna go ahead and let this thing sit for probably 20-30 minutes. I'm gonna go repair the other one, and then we'll go ahead and come back and turn this on, make sure it doesn't leak, so we can get all these trees watered. So I would say 95% of the time those couplers work absolutely great. This right here is the other 5%. We've got a hairline crack in that pipe right there, and that came from when I was digging with the backhoe. I thought I had gotten all the broken pipe out, but I did not. So anyways, we do need to go ahead and cut back all 3 sides and basically rebuild that whole little junction right there. And now I'll have a spare 3/4 inch repair coupler. It's not a bad thing. Now I'll have a spare coupler for when I inevitably break another 3/4 inch pipe. So stuff like this is why you guys have not seen any YouTube videos lately, because that's pretty much all my life has consisted of for the past 3 weeks. I've just been fixing pipes, repairing pipes, and that is not exciting. So anyways, getting real close to being done. Anyways, I'm going to run back down to the shop because I do not have that stuff in my truck. Really hope that's the last one because they just seem to never end, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Well, it's not my finest work, and I don't know that it'll show up on camera very well, but there's definitely a little bit of a sharp angle right there. Pipe's in there pretty good, but we're not gonna cover it up yet. We're gonna go ahead and pressure test that one, make sure that it works before I cover back up and I have to do that again. But having said that, we're just gonna let it sit, and now it is time to go grab some metal so that we can put a bottom plate on the 2 poles that are going up. That way they don't just continue to sink into the ground. And then after that, we're gonna bring up the old link belt. All right, well, you guys can see we got my sweet welding rig all set up. We got the old cat generator with my little 211. So these 2 poles that you guys see right here are actually the top segment. They have a bottom segment, which actually goes into the ground, and then they actually bolt to it. These were not designed to be put into the ground themselves. That's why they don't have a bottom plate. So that's why we have the welder up here. I brought just some real thin plate up here to go ahead and weld on the bottom of it. And basically what that does is kind of helps it from just pushing farther and farther into the ground. So these poles themselves are not too heavy. And if you guys look at the poles that are actually designed to go into the ground, they'll have something similar. It might cover up a little bit more of the space. I either had that piece right there or stuff that was just huge. So I opted with that. And that actually allows for it to drain also. The ones that you typically see on there will cover up a little bit more of it, but I'm not concerned about it. We got one done already. I'm gonna go ahead and get that one dragged over so we can go ahead and get the plate welded on it as well. It's pretty rusty stuff. Brought up some primer to maybe try and help prevent corrosion. I actually don't have any paint right now to put over it. I'm not super worried about it though. So anyways, gonna get the backhoe fired up and we'll get that thing dragged over. Well, I was gonna start welding up, but it appears I have filled that little empty void with dirt. So I gotta try and figure out how to get that out real quick. All right, well, both poles have been officially welded up. It's time to go get the old link belt, track it on up here. It's gonna take a minute to get up here. She doesn't move very fast. But before we go down there, I went ahead and turned the water on this circuit over here. We're gonna see if my little repair held good. Then we're actually gonna walk all the way over to the last tree real quick and make sure that all of them actually have water coming out. All right, so here's our repair. Seems to be holding much better than it was. Looks like we got one that's not spraying any water out. I wonder if it's clogged. Let's see what's going on here. Woo. Yep, definitely dirt coming out of that one. Need to adjust that though. Can't have that poor little tree. So slowly making our way up there. The 330 doesn't move too fast. So like I said, not a fast mover, but we're almost there. All right, well now that we got these poles up here, I guess we gotta move them over into place. And I think I'll probably move my pickup out of the way now. Don't really need it anymore. And the easiest tractor to actually move these things around with is the 299. So it's parked just back there behind the backhoe. Because I'm so excited to get these things uprighted and then start moving on with the project. And Ryan just showed up in this sweet Bronco. He's gonna be helping upright these things. I really hope this goes smoothly. We did just measure these. These are 45 feet tall, but they're gonna be going about 8 feet in the ground. And that excavator, if I remember correctly, goes a little bit over 30 feet. So there may be a little bit of a sketchy factor here. Pretty far down.
Don't got any snakes in there. Good to go.
We went for each other like a bullet from a gun. Faster than the sheriff's drawing, hotter than the sun. Didn't see it coming lately, I've been on the run. You know you've seen my face before, so let me tell you something. Darling, you fell in love with the famous man. See my pictures posted everywhere across the land. And if you run with me, you got to understand that you're holding on to a dangerous hand. If I want it, would you still want me? 'Cause babe, I want it. Do you still want me? I got a bag of money, honey, and it don't belong to me. Took it from a man that had it coming, so you know it wasn't free. We'll load this Smith and Wesson up and take our horses east. And if we run into any trouble, we'll leave them in the crimson streets. Darling, you fell in love with the famous man. See my pictures posted everywhere across the land. And if you run with me, you got to understand that you're holding on to a dangerous hand. If I want it, would you still want me? 'Cause babe, I want it. Do you still want me? Would you head for the hills if they found me? Would you turn me in for the bounty? Or vultures are circling around me? Would you die by my side? Darling, you fell in love with the still want me? Ooh, 'cause babe, I want it. Do you still want me?
All right, well, got a little bit hairy for a second. What is it? That post right there. We didn't realize that it was only, what, like 3.5, 4 feet deep. We had a bunch of dirt fall in there. I guess I should have double checked, but.
We almost lost $2.99.
Yeah, it's time for a new one anyways.
Get insurance.
I actually don't have insurance on it anymore.
All right, it's a good thing we didn't lose
I
today.
know. It's paid off, so I was like, yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. Anyways,
Sure.
Regardless, huge thanks to Ryan for coming over and helping. It's always a lot easier doing sketchy stuff with two people.
Glad it didn't get too sketchy.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. If you guys could do me a huge solid, like, subscribe, share this with amigos, hit that notification button down below, so you guys can continue to see the progress on this area up here and whatever else we got going on. I'll see you guys next time. Later.